Welcome back. Well, today we are doing something of a haul video. The items that are on the table in front of me are the pieces that I picked up this past week with Jocelyn. We went to St. Vincent de Paul for the first time, and we went to Goodwill. So I thought you might be interested in taking a closer look at some of what I've purchased and, more importantly, why I purchased them. So stay tuned. Okay, as I said, we've got the stuff all here in front of me. So let's start with this. This is the teapot to a tea set that I picked up at St. Vincent de Paul. The set was $30. Came to about $32 with taxes, and it is a 25/26 piece set. And I'll get into that /26 in a minute. This is the teapot. This is, as you can see, lusterware. It's a very classic lusterware design. The peach and the blue, and of course the black banding. In this case, the teapot also has a black handle and spout, which I like very much because that's rather unusual for these pieces. Now let me show you the sugar bowl because there's something unusual going on here too. Again, the black handles and the same black. Now, teapot lid, sugar bowl lid. Note, they are reversed patterns. This is peach on the interior with the blue band, blue, and the peach band. I really like that. I thought that was an exceptionally nice touch. The set consists of the teapot, the sugar, the creamer, again, that nice matte black handle, 5 cups, and these are good-sized cups. Ordinarily, when you get a tea set, the cups have a tendency to be a little skimpy, more along the lines of what we would consider espresso or demitasse cups. But in this case, we've got a good-sized cup. The saucers, and, oh, did I mention there were 5 of these? The saucers, 6. And our bread and butter plates, 8. So the numbers are unusual, and I don't know if I'm going to break it down a little, remove some of the extras, and turn it into service for 5, and then hang on to the other plates. I'll have to think about that. This plate was in with this tea set as part of the tea set. Notice what a good match it is. Well, it's not a match at all. The tea set is Bavarian, and it's marked made in Bavaria. This, made in Japan. Not only is it not part of the tea set, it doesn't even come from the same country. And that just goes to show you, because here, let me pick that up again. We are talking about the same colors and pretty much the same pattern. This one has that spider webby black line. This one also has black line. You can clearly see that if I were to combine these, this oddball plate would virtually go unnoticed in the set. That is one of the great things about lusterware china. It is remarkably easy to match up pieces like this because of this peach and blue configuration. Now, I'm not going to talk too much about this because I'm actually going to do a video on lusterware. It's got a long and fascinating history, and we could learn something from our great-great-great-great-grandmothers about how to display it. And that's something I'll get into when we talk about this in its own video. So this is something, as I said, I paid with taxes of just about $32 for it. When I list this, and I will, I'm not listing it for a lot of money. I figure I will probably recoup the investment and maybe throw another $5 or $6 on it, and that will cover the shipping of some of our giveaway pens. In fact, if I put $8 on it, that will cover the shipping for 2 giveaway pens. Yay! Because as you know, that's what my eBay shop is all about, covering costs for the projects and the giveaways. And of course, I want to make these finds available to people who want them, because this is a great set. And as I say, it's something you can mix and match, obviously, because that's what they've done. So that at $30, and that was the base price of this, I thought it was a touch high. However, because this was from the Vincent de Paul thrift shop, I'm not concerned about it. This shop is run by the Catholic Church. It lives in the church basement. Some, if not all, of the workers there are volunteers. The items are all donated. And boy, say what you will about the Catholic Church, they have a 2,000-year history of charity, and they've got it down pat. I would say of that $32, $2 is going to the state for taxes, and I wouldn't be surprised if $25 or more from this purchase went straight to people in need, because they keep their overhead very low. They know what they're doing, and they maximize, not their profits, but they maximize the amount of money that they can put straight into charity. As I say, 2,000 years has taught them plenty. So that was a nice find. And when I say $30 was a little high, it's just a little high for thrift store, not high for a lusterware tea set, not by any stretch of the imagination. When I pop this on my Etsy shop and list it for $45, somebody is going to look at that and say, holy cow, major, major bargain. The church is going to get some money for charity. I'm going to get some of the pen shipping covered. Win, win, win. Everybody's happy. I like when it works like that. But I picked up a couple other lusterware pieces from them. These are marked. This was a total of $5. This is a creamer and a little saucer. They are matching, but of course the creamer is not intended to sit on the saucer. I will probably sell the creamer just as is, but I have a feeling this saucer is going to end up on a very attractive tidbit tray. So that was nice. Also, $1. This is a little miniature teapot. There is no lid on it. This piece was almost certainly made in Japan. We take a look at this one. This set is Japan. This was almost certainly made in Japan. Japan did a number of little lusterware miniature children's tea sets. This is going to be a project. I've got something special planned for this. So remember this piece, you will see it again. And even if I didn't have a project in mind for it, it's adorable. The fact that the lid is missing is not a big problem for me. So it's cute for $1. This is another piece that I picked up. This is a beautiful piece of Camille Rose china. Now, on the back, it clearly says made specifically for Lord & Taylor. It also says decorated in Hong Kong. And we know already, well, I'm sorry, it says hand painted in Hong Kong. We know already that the pieces that are marked hand-painted in Hong Kong were made in Japan. So hand-painted in Hong Kong or decorated in Hong Kong is shorthand for and made in Japan. This is gorgeous, and I thought I would take a minute to talk about pieces like this. The workmanship on this piece is just staggering. It's beautifully executed. You look at this and you say, wow, that doesn't look hand-painted. That's just too perfect. Let me show you another piece of, I pulled a piece of Camille Rose. This is a piece of Famille Rose that was made in China, and it is marked made in China, so we know this dates from between 1919 and 1949. We have that 30-year period when that was the marking. Let me hold them up together. As you can see, the workmanship on the Lord & Taylor piece is in fact superior. However, pieces like this made for Lord & Taylor, and we've discussed Andrea Vysatic, that's another one of the companies that went to Asia and had pieces custom made to their specifications and brought over. They don't have the same value, which is unfortunate because, as I said, the workmanship is often quite superior. This is a beautiful piece. Now it's got this brass around it. It was made according to the specifications of Lord & Taylor, which is one of the premier department stores in the U.S. They consider it a luxury department store. It is, in fact, a subsidiary of the oldest retail company in the Americas. I don't need to tell the folks in Canada about this, but for those of us in the United States who are not history buffs, Lord & Taylor is a subsidiary, or was. It has either just changed hands or is about to. So cutting edge on that. Up until a few weeks ago, let's put it that way, I can say that for certain, it was the Hudson Bay Company. So those of us who know colonial history, those of us who happen to live in Canada, are going to recognize that name. That is the oldest retail company in North America, well, South America, in the Americas, the New World, the oldest. So Lord & Taylor has its own cachet. Cachet, that'll be our word for the day. Cachet means prestige or desirability. It's sort of those intangible qualities that will give one item a little edge over the other. Prestige. And it's often confused with cash. Oh, cachet is spelled C-A-C-H-E-T. It's a French pronunciation, cachet. It's often confused with cash, C-A-C-H-E, which is sometimes pronounced cachet as well. That's not the correct pronunciation. The correct pronunciation is cash, just like the money in your pocket. And that is a word very dear to my own heart because it is a stash of like items. So you might have, for example, as you saw in the last video, a cache of finials. Think of it as a mini hoard. So we've got cash in our pockets, we've got a cache of finials, and cachet, that indefinable prestige that a store like Lord & Taylor's has, or in this case, that a piece like this does not have, whereas a piece made in China does. So I consider that unfortunate that a piece like this, which is beautiful, extremely well made, is not going to be worth as much because it does not have the cachet of that made in China piece. And I have pieces like, well, Rose Medallion, not Famille Rose, Rose Medallion pieces sprinkled in my own china service because they are beautiful. In fact, I have a couple of large charger plates that are Andrea by Sadek. The workmanship is outstanding, and I dare anybody to look down their nose at my china service. Thank you very much. Throw a few of these pieces in. They're beautiful. And because of the lack of cachet, they can be had very inexpensively. This piece, I'm not sure what I'm going to do with it. My first thought was, the dog has some very beautiful old Chinese stoneware bowls. Maybe the cat would like a little Famille Rose bowl. But in fact, the cat did have a very nice piece of antique china. And then one day he saw a mouse, knocked his food dish off the counter, took off after the mouse. Food dish was in pieces. I wasn't happy. He brought the mouse over to the dog and said, "Here, look, I brought you dinner." The dog was disgusted, left her bed. It was just nightmare in my house that day. So in fact, the broken china wasn't the worst of it. The upset dog who wouldn't go back in her bed for fear of finding a dead mouse there, that was the worst of it. But I did want to make sure that you had a good look at this piece. You will find them. I am not sure why they have put this brass rim around the plate. I know that there was a time back in the 30s and 40s when you would see Rose Medallion and Famille Rose pieces cased in pewter, often turned into ashtrays. They'd put little divots for the cigarettes in it. That was a practical concern. They would have a great piece. It would have nicks on the rim. They would just coat it in pewter. Bang, nicks disappear. Piece turns into an ashtray. Win-win, everybody's happy. Because this was made specifically this way to Lord & Taylor's specifications, I can only assume that this metal was intended to be highly polished, and this would have been a little candy dish or a serving dish, something that would stay out. Although, interestingly enough, it comes from an era where it has that caution, not for food use. So, and I'm not worried about this. This does not have the iron oxide paints, and it's perfectly safe. But that was another piece, and I thought it was worth a few minutes to talk about that one. Let's move to Goodwill. And while we're there, let's take another look at this piece. Remember, this was our little project lamp. Lusterware, again. As I say, I'm going to do something specifically on lusterware because we see it a lot, and I think it warrants its own video. History is long and interesting. This was a Goodwill Plate, 97 cents. It's got a nice little, what is this? Boy fishing in front of little, I don't know, rural British looking house. So why would I grab this? I would like you to picture a little hole in the middle of this plate and little hands emerging from that hole. This will make a great clock plate. It has something else I look for in a clock plate. You can see on an angle, see how flat it is? A lot of times plates come up rather a lot on the edges. And there are times when I've seen dinner plates that look more like soup bowls because they were so high on the edges. This one has a lot of very flat space. That's necessary if you're going to turn it into a clock, because you don't want the clock hands ramming up against the edge. It won't work. So I thought this would make a very nice clock for $1. This was another Goodwill piece. Again, 97 cents. It's a little cream-colored saucer with violets on it. And what I think you may not be able to see is the indentation for the saucer, or for the cup in the saucer, is square. That is just a cute touch. So this, I picked this up at Goodwill several months ago. Pre-drilled. It's a Bavarian piece. This one is, I believe it's British. I'm going to have to remove the price tag. So we've got 2 violet plates, which means I have the beginnings of another tidbit tray. I think a 3rd plate down at the bottom, and we've got a tidbit tray. So this was specifically for a future project. This was another Goodwill find. It's a nice little cash pot. It's got incised designs. Designs like this are very old, by the way. One of the earliest forms of decoration, that they would just stick a little tool in and make this design. It rather resembles Babylonian cuneiform, if you've ever seen that. Little wedge-shaped marks. I saw this, Jocelyn saw this, we both stopped and picked it up and thought, but when I realized we were both looking at it, I said, no, that means it's a good quality piece. And I figured I would grab this just because it's a cute little piece. Someone will want it. I believe I paid $2 for this. I can definitely sell this for more than $2. So, nice piece. This is another of the Goodwill pieces. This is a little Chinese vase. Oh, I'm sorry. This is a little Japanese vase. My bad. Very nice. I love the asymmetrical handles. I had to look twice to see if it was broken. No, it's just asymmetrical. We don't see that a lot in the Japanese pieces that were imported into the U.S. If we were in Japan looking at Japanese porcelain ware, we would be seeing that all the time. They are fond of asymmetry. They find it artistic. And so it's unusual to get something of that aesthetic that was meant to come over here. Usually they cater to our Western sensibilities, and our Western sensibilities, which date back to ancient Greece, say symmetry is everything. Their artistic sensibilities in Asia do not date back to Greece, and they are not as obsessed with symmetry as we are. So that is just nice. It's got a little gilded grape design. It's just a small bud vase, and it's got this wonderful cross-hatching. Nice. Noritake again. 2 little cream soup bowls. When you see a bowl like this, it's about the size of a good-sized teacup, handles on either side. It is a cream soup bowl. That's what it is. This was both of them. They were undoubtedly part of a set of china, and all that survived to come to me was 2 cream soup bowls. Very pretty, 97 cents each. If I were to use this, to put this to use in my own home, it would not be for cream soup. I would use this as a candy dish or a nut dish because I think they stand independently, just beautifully on their own. And so when I eventually list them on eBay, and I know I'm getting very negligent about my listings, I promise I'll deal with that, I'm going to list them as cream soup bowls, but in the description, I'm certainly going to mention that they are perfect as candy dishes or nut cups. Because, as I say, that is absolutely what I would use them for. This is a little unmarked piece, heavily gilded. It's $2. A lot of age in this. You can see that from the dirt, just dirt on the bottom. Yes, I want to try to find a better way. The age on the bottom, that's not age, that's dirt, that's wear. That tells me this piece has been around for a long, long time. I'm not seeing a marking. There may be one under the price tag. It's hard to tell. A lot of pieces like this came from Japan, but a lot of pieces like this also came from Bavaria. Remember our lusterware. Sometimes it can be very hard to tell. I just find this to be an extremely nice, simple, go with anything candy dish. And by the way, all that junk is going to be gone. We've discussed this before. Sue the buyer hates Sue the seller, because Sue the seller will scrub all these signs of wear off it because she doesn't like to sell dirty stuff. Sue the buyer likes to buy dirty stuff. But I think that's probably just me. My belief is that if people go to your eBay shop, to your Etsy site, they want to buy something, they would like it to be clean. And I feel that's the very least I can give a buyer, is a clean piece. And come on, it would embarrass me to sell something filthy. So that's going to be all scrubbed up. But the condition on this is really good. An old piece, so little wear on the gilding that it's practically brand new in terms of condition. And I love when you can grab a 50-year-old piece and it looks brand new. That's beautiful. I'm sure you've heard who are they? There's pickers on television, and they talk about rusty gold. I don't like rust. I don't like dirt. I do not believe my buyers come to me for rust or dirt. They come to me for clean stuff. And I find that it's very easy to live with antique pieces when they are not rusted through, covered in crud, or falling apart. Hey, just me, what can I say? This is another piece that Jocelyn and I were looking at. We don't know if it's flow blue. It is either flow blue or a nice ersatz version of flow blue. Again, when I look at the bottom, it's got age to it. There's no question about that. I got it because it is a very pretty piece of maybe flow blue, maybe imitation flow blue. Very nice piece. I could see myself drinking my coffee out of this. It's beautiful. I could also see this on my desk holding pencils. Again, beautiful. And the great thing about mugs is you can do anything you want with them. Like I say, you drink your coffee out of it, stick your pencils in it, put some water in it, throw in some flowers that would make a nice vase. Mugs are very, very versatile. And again, this is going to have to be pretty seriously cleaned up, but it will be, because, I don't sell dirty stuff. This is another piece I grabbed from Goodwill, $1.97. This is a beautiful Chinese planter. Very, very pretty. This is a design I am seeing a lot, this sort of flowers and vines. We've got what we call a Greek key pattern, although the Chinese use that pattern in a lot of their stuff. Nice Greek key pattern. This is a nice serviceable planter, or if you were to bring it indoors, a nice cash pot, a big one. You can put a lot of potpourri in this sucker. This is a piece that I would imagine that I would be selling this for somewhere between, I don't know, $12, $15, something like that. Not a lot. And again, it's not because I don't think it's worth more or because I don't think I could get more, but because I want to pass the bargain along. $2. You know, everybody knows what I spent on it. And I don't know, buying something for $2 and selling it for 50 just somehow seems a bit immoral to me. But this is, again, a nice Asian piece. It's subtle. The colors are not vibrant. They're soft. They're pastels, colors you can work with. So that's why I got that piece. Now, while I'm over here reaching, this is another piece. That was a timer. Again, very subtle coloration. It's a wall pocket, and there's dirt in it, so it was used as a planter at some time in its life. Very pretty, very delicate, pink and blue roses, romantic, if you will. Nice, nice piece. 97 cents. Therefore, again, how can I justify selling it for $50? This certainly is going to be sold for less than 20. And I think that is a great piece. In the right room, this is going to do really, really well. And I am picturing this maybe in a nursery. It's a very pretty piece. And obviously, it's going to be completely cleaned out so it can hold things other than dirt and flowers. The great thing about pieces like this is you stick stuff in them. I could stick mail in this. So that's why I bought it, the coloration. Now, this was another buy that I almost walked away from. It's a very thick, heavily embossed Christmas plates, poinsettia at the bottom, Japan, just etched right into the back. So why was I thinking about walking away? Because it's a set of 5. And sets for us are usually in even numbers. 4, 6, 8. 5 is an odd number. But then Jocelyn pointed out to me that she grew up in a family of 5, and she did. She's got her parents, she's got her brother, she's got her sister. So they were a family of 5. Maybe there will be another family of 5 looking for this. But this is great mid-century Japan. They did a lot of work, high quality, thick. Let me show you on the side. The very thick, sort of a substantial set of plates. And because Christmas is coming up before we know it, I don't think I'm going to have any trouble selling this. I'm hoping these will also find a good home. So that's it. That is the collection of stuff I got last week. And as I said, the most important thing is not what I bought as much as why I bought it. I believe all of these items will sell. There's no question about that. Well, not the lamp, of course. That's going to somebody that's already promised out as a giveaway. If it were not going out as a giveaway, would it sell? Oh, yeah, I'm sure it would. But that's something that is reserved for our viewers. And once we get a good shade for that piece, that's going to be a giveaway. As for the rest of this is what I bought. This is why I bought it. We've got a lot of nice lusterware. We have a possible cat food dish. I don't know. I got to think about that. This is a beautiful, beautiful piece. We have a little piece here that's going to be part of a tidbit tray. because I have a piece to go with it, I'd like to get a third. Project. So that's what I'm looking at. And Jocelyn does not buy for project pieces. So she might take a look at something like this and say, well, I couldn't sell it, or, and that's why she would consider walking away. I will not. I'm going to drill a hole in this puppy. This is a project piece. So that was the St. Vincent de Paul and Goodwill trip haul for this week. Will I be able to sell this? Everything I want to sell on this table is going to be sold. I have no concerns about that. And the others, well, they will eventually find their way into projects. So here's your haul video. I hope you enjoyed it. And I look forward to seeing you next week.